7 years ago I was married to my dear ex. We were together for 6 years at this point. I thought we had a great relationship prior. I received a nice inheritance. I used the money first to buy a condo for us to live, a new car for her because hers was falling apart as a thank you for her constant support over the years, and the rest went to starting my own company. I thought we loved each other. We had talked endless times about kids. We both wanted a family. One day I came home from work. She was seated in the couch and signaled for me to sit with her. Then she told me she was pregnant. I was happy for like half a millisecond, when I realized about the impossibility of this happening because we were both cis women. I started to cry for what it meant. Then she started to cry and say sorry but that this could be a good thing now. Incredulously I asked how on earth could this be a good thing. She said that this could be the perfect opportunity for us to have the family we always wanted. I didn't have the energy to argue at that moment, so I went to pack some things and told her I was going to be staying with my cousin for a few days and come back to talk. I was a complete disaster with my cousin for a week. Then I returned, said I wanted a divorce, packed all the rest of my things while she tells me that she can't do it without me and that I'm abandoning our child. I said nothing. I couldn't speak. I didn't have it in me to do anything but pack and leave. In the divorce I let her have the condo. Her car, it was on my name. She demanded alimony. I gave it to her for a year even though she wasn't really entitled to it. She demanded child support but was denied for obvious reasons. A year later it was done. A month before the divorce was finalized, I met a woman. I wasn't sure about dating but my friends encouraged me to get back out there, so I did. It was slow. I told her about my past. She felt really bad for me. We went on dates, we kissed. Then she stopped responding my texts and calls for a week. I didn't know what was happening. She then shows up at my home looking sad. She tells me she's pregnant, to which I think not again. But she quickly explains that she found out a few days ago. She had an appointment that day and was told she was about 16 weeks along. That she did not cheat since we had known each other for 3 months. That she knows this might be somehow triggering for me. That she really likes me but understands if I want nothing to do with her and left. Ultimately I couldn't let her go, and we stayed together. The whole ordeal was a bit confusing at first but we worked it out. Now my Kamapani is on the rise and it's been for years. We bought a house, got married, had 2 more kids, a dog and a cat. Her family loves me, my family loves her. But then last Saturday my ex had to appear again. We are in a family gathering on my wife's side. When she showed up to wife's aunt's house to expose me as a horrible person who abandoned her wife and child and left them with nothing to go start a new family with a whore and raise someone else's child. And that since I have money I have to start paying the overdue child support and blah blah blah. Apparently she befriended my wife's cousin's wife in PTA, told her about me. She gave my name and wife's cousin's wife was shocked and appalled by my actions and decided they were going to confront me in the family gathering for everyone to hear and show them the evidence. My wife tried to argue back but was cut by her aunt cousin's mom, and in not a very nice way kicked us out with a promise to take my treatment of my ex public and ruin my company. We left stunned, and my wife vowed she was going to start World War III if anyone dared to slander me. On Sunday morning we got a call from my wife's dad aunt's brother, to talk about what the texts and voicemails they were receiving were about. They didn't go to the gathering. We went over for lunch and explained everything that happened. They knew I got divorced in the past but I never told them why. They were understanding of the situation, but my mother-in-law still said that since I do have money I should help my ex out, pay the child support, get her a place if she needs it and be a parental figure in my ex's daughter's life. After all, the child was conceived during your marriage. She has some odd spiritual beliefs. My wife is now mad at her mom for saying that. My wife's siblings are mostly on her side except one who's close to cousin and cousin believes his wife, and we've been ignored the extended family. Thank you for F at $$ and % existing dear ex. Update 1. Hi, sorry I didn't update before. It's been hectic, between my kids' routine changes with the school year ending, my wife, my business, and the situation with my ex. I haven't been able to even watch the last season of Succession. First I want to clear some things. I saw a lot of people got fixated on the fact that I gave the condo to my ex. I get it, but in the moment I was just so low. I still had some love for her too I guess, and I wanted to get rid of everything. So I thought well, she will need a place for her and her child and it will be faster to just give it to her. So I did, even against my lawyer's advice. My wife did not cheat on me. She slept with someone weeks before we even met. Then we met. A month after that we went on our first date. 2 months into our relationship she finds out she was pregnant. We talked and moved forward but slowly. We didn't move in together the next day. We just stayed together to see how thing would go. It could have ended at any time, but it didn't, and we moved in together when kid was almost a year old. Mill has some weird spiritual thing with some of her friends going on since forever. It never bothered me really, but I do think some of her views are questionable. I did mention to her that I gave my ex the condo. She said but you don't know if she still has it. Someone said that that's what she thinks because she cheated on Phil and my wife and her siblings may be a product of that. Honestly I don't feel comfortable bringing that up with my wife right now or anyone for that matter, so I won't do that. Okay, so, a few things happen. I got all the documentation about the divorce. I made copies and hand them to my wife's family and made sure everyone could see the whole thing. I got some mixed reactions. There were people who told me they knew my ex was clearly crazy from the beginning and said next to nothing because they thought it was obvious, but that those who believed her were just as crazy, so talking to them would be like talking to a wall, so they'd just move on. They did apologize for not saying anything. They didn't think it could be so detrimental to me when it's clearly fake. I'm not mad at them now. With most of them we're not exactly close. They're extended relatives. Others believed my ex at first because she had evidence, but after showing them my documents they apologized profusely, and said they would support me suing her and be witnesses and such. And then there were those who still believed my ex, like cousin's wife, aunt, and a few others who are close to them that accused me of falsifying documents. Bill, who's close to cousin, has said nothing about anything. He doesn't seem to be on their side but did not admit he was wrong either, just silence from him. I filed a restraining order. The temporary one was denied, but I have a hearing schedule. I had a meeting with one of my biggest clients last week. We've known each other for a long time. Professionally, we're not friends, but he knew I got divorced years ago. When he arrived at the reception I received him and asked him to follow me. He stopped me and said someone went to his office and told him about me abandoning a child, and asked me if it was true. I said it was false, told him a brief recap and offered to show him my divorce documents. He said it was not needed. He trusts my word and offered his help if I need it in the future. We moved on to our meeting. I was really pissed that she actually went for my business, but then something even worse happened. My lawyer has been drafting a cease and desist letter and I was debating whether I should just sue her or wait for the letter. Then Saturday happened. I took my kids to the mall to buy some things for summer. School classes are over but their school still has some activities during the week and there's a big event next weekend, and other things we needed to buy things for. We went and left my wife at home to relax. It's getting harder for her. When we came back I gave the kids some bags and told them to go inside with them. Mama has a snack for them. I would handle the rest. I'd do a few trips in and out of the house, and when I'm finishing unloading the trunk I hear mommy. I turn around and there was a little girl standing there. I was confused. The girl seemed scared. Then I see my ex approaching. She tells the girl yes, that's what she was supposed to be. The girl was still and silenced for the rest of the exchange, but my ex went off on me. I'm paraphrasing here but this is basically the exchange. Ex, I can't believe you wouldn't want to be in her life. She's an amazing kid, an innocent kid that did nothing wrong. You just abandoned her, and for what? For a random whore who sleeps with everyone, gets pregnant and then makes you responsible for her kid. Me, wasn't it you who tried to do that? Ex, I was not a random chick, it was different. Me, yeah, the difference is that she did not cheat on me and I chose to be responsible. She didn't try to force me. Ex, that doesn't make it fair. How could you not think of her points to the little girl? When you bring kids from the street and care for them in reference to our two older kids being adopted, your kids go to private school while I have to move for her to go to the school I want her to go to. Is she invisible to you? Me, are you nuts? Please leave, I don't have time for this. Ex, what? You don't want your perfect little family see who you really are? Me, you leave or I call the police. Ex, as if you would do that. Just be reasonable for once and we won't have any more problems. Then my wife came out of the house. Wife, I already called the police. They're on their way. I suggest you leave before they arrive. Me, come inside. I grabbed the last two bags and went inside. Through the window I saw my ex grabbing the little girl by her arm rather harshly and drag her to her car. Then she left. Now I'm actually worried about the girl. The police showed up. We talked to them. Showed them footage. We have cameras. Even footage from my car. I filed again for a temporary restraining order and was approved. So that's good for now. I told my lawyer to forget about the letter. I'm suing her ass. And I can confirm she doesn't live in the condo anymore. I'm not sure what happened to it or where she's living now, but we'll see. Update 2. Hello again. It's been a few weeks. Ex haven't showed up at my door again since last time. Thank the universe. She did however showed up at my office looking for me last Monday but I wasn't there, as I'm now working mostly from home to help my wife who's in bed rest for the foreseeable future due to complications with the pregnancy. I went to the office on Thursday and as I was leaving to go home my ex's sister was waiting for me. We were close back then but cut contact when the whole cheating happened and my therapist basically advised me to. Anyway. She said she has been coming for a few days and waiting outside, hoping to see me and she needed to talk to me and was really important. So we went to a cafe nearby and told me what my ex has been up to since the divorce. She sold the condo about 1.5 years after the divorce was finalized and moved to a house. She's renting it. She said ex said it was a quick way to make money to buy all the stuff a kid would need growing up. As the time went on her family saw stranger than normal behaviors in her. I'm not gonna go into much detail, otherwise we'd be here a long time, but essentially she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder about 2 years ago, and was treated for a bit but then she stopped. I talked to my lawyer. He said that makes some things tricky, as she could defend not guilty by reason of insanity, but the fact she has been refusing treatment for a while now would help my case. Sister said that she's sorry for how ex is acting and she would help me with whatever I need with the case. She's still around her sister to try and mitigate her episodes for the sake of her niece. I asked why CPS hasn't got involved and she said her parents are butting in for that to not happen. I couldn't stay longer. I had to get home before my sil had to leave, so we exchanged numbers and will be in contact if needed. That's all for now. I have the hearing for the permanent restraining order this week, so hopefully that goes well. Edit cause I forgot. Sister said X let it slip that she's not sure who the bio dad is cause she slept with 4 different people, 3 guys, around the time the kid was conceived. When I learned this I felt even more stupid that she was just sleeping around and I had no clue. Update 3. Hi, guys. Sorry it's been so long. The youngest of our bunch was feeling excluded, always being in that same little room all the time, and she decided to come out earlier than expected. Mixed with the NICU stay and school starting, I feel like I would like to sleep into the next year. But, thankfully, everyone is doing great now. On to my ex. The anxiety levels I was managing were off the charts back then. They are still high, but I can breathe. Basically, there was silence for about 2 weeks, and then I got a call that she attempted to cash out a fake check in my name. I have no idea how she found my bank, but just like the fertility clinic documents, the check was clearly fake and didn't fool the clerk. She was arrested immediately. Right now, she's in a psychiatric facility receiving treatment. I'm not sure how long she'll stay there, but once she's out, she's going to trial for check fraud, and from what I've been told, it doesn't look good for her. On the other hand, her parents are aware that I was planning to sue her and that I have evidence of another forgery crime committed by her. They begged me not to pursue them since that would likely send their daughter away for longer. Maybe unpopular, but I made a deal with them that somehow they would make sure that everyone she defamed me to will know the truth. I don't want to deal with this right now, so I accepted. So far, so good. In regards to the girl, I'm happy to say she's with my ex right now. I won't go into detail, but it seems that there's no way for my ex to get her back in the future. Even though it's not my business, I let my ex know that if her parents try to get the girl, I will help her with that. My wife and I are also taking some distance from my mother-in-law. It seems that my ex befriending the cousin was a coincidence that they both decided to use for their own advantages. The cousin and the aunt just used my ex's lies to get revenge on me, since apparently they work harder than me to make less money than me and it's not fair. I don't think I'm forgetting anything, but let me know if I am. Now on to the next story. Story 2. My wife left my daughters behind during what she thought was a home invasion. My 34M wife, 42F, is a stay-at-home mom. Last week when I was at work, and my 2 oldest were at school, 5M and 3M, my wife was sitting at the dining room table when she saw a man walking down the driveway and going to the front door. He had what she thought was a hammer. She went to the front door and the guy was trying to get in. The guy saw her and waved, and tried to get in. She fled the house and ran out the back door. She left her cell phone and Apple Watch. She also left our twin girls, 8 months old. They were sleeping in their cribs. She ran through the neighborhood looking for someone to help her call police. Eventually she found someone and they called the police. The police responded and cleared the house. Turns out, it was a repair guy who was supposed to go to our neighbor's house and had been told that no one would be home and to just come in. She is mad at me for not being more supportive of her. I was stunned when she told me and was surprised when she said she left the girls. She is always yelling at me about how I don't do enough for the kids, unlike her who sacrifices constantly. I don't think that is accurate, but it is beside the point. We've been having major issues in our marriage for a long time apart from this. She is acting like this is one of the most traumatic events of her life. Which is making me madder and madder. I am having a real hard time putting this one behind me. If this guy had been a bad guy she would have abandoned our girls to him all so she could save herself. Our house isn't that big, and people in the neighborhood and online know we have 2 little girls. I honestly don't know what to do. Edit 1. This happened about a week ago. I spent about an hour in the phone with her that day trying to console her. I tried again that night, and have been trying to take care of the kids and do all the chores at home. She has been focusing on what I think is a work-from-home job, but that she is lying to me about and trying to hide from me. Other than that she is going out with her friends to bars. She does not believe in therapy and is refusing to go to marriage counseling that I set up for us online after the kids go to sleep. A big issue I am having is the double standard that if I had done this she would have never forgiven me and probably divorced me. We had a fight because when we moved to a new house my side of the bed was on the far side from the door and that I needed to be able to stop an attacker. I have been yelled at for abandoning my daughters when I take a shower in the morning before work and they begin crying, or if she is sleeping in and one begins crying while I'm changing the other's diaper and it takes me a minute to finish. I totally understand this is fight or flight and I'm not trying to Monday morning quarterback. I have not critiqued let alone criticized her. The closest was when I was surprised when she told me she left the girls. Other than that call or when I came home and she was annoyed that we don't have security cameras, we haven't really talked about it. Edit 2. She has a phone that worked. I texted her to check in and she told me to call her, and that's when I found out about this. When the kids are sleeping she usually has it. It's a 1-story house. It's an L shape. The doors are at one end of the L and the kids are at the other end. I don't know how long it took for her to get help. It was in the work day and most of our neighbors work. It's a walkable neighborhood, not in the country somewhere. I am currently in therapy. She has mocked me in the past for going to therapy and uses that as a way to invalidate my opinions. What do you know? You're just a depression case. So there is no way she will see a therapist. The police had a social worker with them who gave her a card for a therapist. Update. Good afternoon everyone. I wanted to thank everyone for all their comments and advice. I wanted to provide an update. Long story short, things are not going well. I feel like I am an airplane pilot, who is trying to land a plane while it is disintegrating around me, and that the time is now for me to bail out. I am also realizing how much I have normalized these issues, and that my good days would be at best marginal days for other marriages, but more likely would be awful. Since that post, I have really tried to do what I can to support her. I think I had been doing what I could to support her in the past. Anytime she wants to leave, she can. I do the lion's share of the chores at home. That means laundry, cooking, groceries, and morning and bedtime routines for the boys, who are school age. We do an informal system for dishes and with the girls for the baths. It's close to 50-50 on that one. I also pay all the bills, and handle all of the extracurriculars. One comment that people made was that she just gave birth 8 months ago, and that I should be more sympathetic. I totally get that. But since she gave birth, she has done 4 10K races, a marathon relay, and goes to a run group and dinner afterwards twice a week. She has also gone to networking events for her business that she is working on. Since that post we have had numerous issues. We have had more days with screaming matches than here is a list of issues since the post. She woke up early on Saturday, but didn't wake me or my son up for his early practice. I slept through my alarm, didn't do anything to help us get ready. Her only question when we came back was how late were we? The moment I came home, she went back to bed. I had all 4 kids by myself, which is fine. I took the kids to the store to run errands. As soon as I came back in, she got in a shower and left, and refused to take any kids despite their cries. She refused to tell us where she was going. Sunday, she refused to go to anyone's hockey practice because she had to clean the house. While I am going to park at the rink, with my kids crying, she calls me because she had hired a person to clean out our garage, and wanted to know where we were going to move things. This was the first time I had heard of this. The woman did a good job of cleaning the garage, but she threw everything in the dumpster, including like unopened dress shirts. We had a thermonuclear fight on Monday. My eldest was screaming at me to get a second helping of dinner ready. I tried bluffing to send him to bed without the second helping. He goes straight to her, and she overrules me. Once they leave the room, I explain what I was doing, and she spiked her laptop on the bed, and jumps up and starts screaming at me. Proceeds to follow me out of the room and is screaming in front of all 4 kids that I am a whiny bitch and not a real man and that I am trying to starve her kids. Funnily enough, this was just before our marriage counseling session. I kept it, and while I was in the waiting room she continued screaming at me and attacking my character. When the session started she refused to join. She was puttering around and started blending something. I tried to be as objective as possible, and the counselor said that she was impressed with that. In the last 5 minutes I tried to just bring my laptop to her. When I did she collapsed into the room she was in like Superman seeing kryptonite. She refused to do it. After that, I went to bed, and she woke me up and wanted me to set up our printer. We changed routers and I hadn't had the chance to set it up yet. The lack of anger caught me off guard, and so I did it. She stood over my shoulder the whole time, silently, and refused to let me see anything. We had a couple of other fights along the same lane. But yesterday, Thanksgiving, we had a decent day. Not that it was overly affectionate. We just didn't fight. She slept in until 12:50 in the afternoon, and was snippy because I didn't have everyone ready yet. She wanted the girls in the car seats. She then began a 90-minute shower and makeup routine, and helped with the kids for maybe 20 minutes. We ended up an hour late for Thanksgiving dinner. But for us, that was a good day. Yeah, there was no affection or anything, and we didn't speak in the car, but yeah, my mind forgot all the issues we had been having, and I wanted to make it work. That night, I woke up and attended to one of the girls who is very sick. That is the one thing that she has done exclusively, is attend to the kids when they wake up. She has taken kids from me when I do get up before her. She says that it is because I'm working. One fight we had in September she screamed at me as being selfish for taking my daughter and sitting with her. I had said that I didn't mind and that I was up anyway. And that became somehow me keeping her up because I couldn't sleep. The problem is that this has become a trump card in every argument. But, anyway, I was with my daughter from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and she slept in. This morning, I woke up at 9 o'clock, the latest I have slept in that I can remember. I started making the kids breakfast and finishing the laundry. She was working on her laptop already. She snapped that I shouldn't bother cleaning the house because she has hired someone. I tired very hard, and refused to escalate, but told her that we can't really afford a cleaning lady, and that I've got it. She proceeded to call me a little bitch and scream at me in my face in front of my kids. One of my boys ran and hid, and the other sat and read on the couch. But he was not happy. She blamed me for not having time to clean and not having money, and that I couldn't clean or do laundry to her standards, and that she wasn't a cleaner. It was about an hour of just constant abuse. So I spent today cleaning the house, doing laundry, and taking care of all 4 kids. My sons did more cleaning than she has for a month. What has really disturbed me is not the abuse towards me. I have normalized that and I am used to it. And honestly, if she kept it behind closed doors, I was prepared to wait out the next 17 years and leave once my kids were out of the house. But my eldest son is clearly mirroring her behaviors and internalizing the stress. It doesn't help that she constantly wants me to ask him who is his favorite, who yells more, and who is the better parent. When I refuse to do that, I am scared of what he might say. I guess Reddit, that I don't know what to do. I am trying to fix this. I am keeping an appointment scheduled with a counselor. But beyond that, other than talking to a lawyer, I don't know what I should do. She honestly doesn't see any issues with how she treats me. Her refrain is that I am a diamond, and if you leave me you'll only be dating pebbles. Besides the fact that I don't want a divorce, and she spent the last 6 years threatening a divorce, I don't know I can show anyone who is that out of touch with reality, or seemingly so closed off from recognizing that they have a role in causing and fixing the problems with the marriage.